Dan, always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you very much.
We talked obviously about Potter. Here we're talking about a little bit more of maybe an important subject.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk to me about the Trevor Project and how you came to be associated with it.
Right, the Trevor Project is a helpline for gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender and questioning youth all over America. And it is 24 hours a day. And there's a website. There is shortly to be an iPhone application, which I think is called the Trevor iPhone application. And it is, I came to it because it's something I've always been quite passionate about in a way in my life, because I grew up around gay men, and it was always just a completely natural thing for me. It was never something that I even gave a second thought to. Some men were gay, some men were straight. It didn't make any difference to me. And then when I went to my second school, and suddenly I started to hear words like "puff" and "homo" get thrown around, and suddenly I was like, "Oh, hold on to that. So you have a problem with that?" And it never occurred to me that some people might have. So I remember being quite shocked when I was young, and obviously now I'm in a position where I can help, an amazing thing like the Trevor Project, which is amazing. And I've spent some time today in the call centre, and I've met some of the guys who work here, and they are just incredible people. I mean, and if the three I've met are representative of, I think there's about 160 people in total who work kind of all year round the clock, and that number is obviously growing all the time. If they're representative of them, then I mean, it is an amazing service. It is an incredible thing. And as I was talking to one of the girls, Megan, and she says she had a line where she said, "I hate the fact that this needs to exist, but it's so important that it does, this helpline."
As any celebrity of your ilk, along with the territory has come allegations. I mean, allegations make it sound like it's a bad thing, but supposition that you were gay.
Yeah, I know. My favourite thing I saw was a guy on the internet that said, "Of course he's gay. He's got a gay face," which I thought was kind of was an odd thing to say anyway. But then also was like, a gay face. He said that's a very worrying sort of thing, like that they have sat at home and sort of, have got pictures of me next to other famous gay Elton John, or I don't know, and they're just comparing across the years. I'm not sure how that works. The
bone structure is, of course.
I know, it's very, very odd. But no, I mean, if people want to say that, then they can, but I'm not, I'm straight.
In your position, I'm wondering, if you were gay and you're playing an iconic character like Harry Potter, do you think that you'd feel pressure not to come out? I mean,
no, not with my parents. No, I've got really my parents are kind of amazing, and it just would never have. I mean, hey, no, and you know what? I really don't think that would have been the case, unless if I had wanted to. Maybe it would have been my personal choice if I hadn't wanted to come out, but. Yeah, I mean, I don't think my position would have stopped me if I was gay. I mean, I know that some actors obviously don't like to, and I kind of can understand that to a certain extent, because sometimes you do see actors get typecast after they come out, which is unfortunate. But a lot of the time also that doesn't happen, and it's personal preference, isn't it? Really, and also coming out is such a important moment in a gay man's life that I would never want to actually comment on whether it's somebody else should or should not.
The cliched question of someone in your position of kind of being a role model, and this obviously, being involved in an organization like this speaks well to your character and your values. Have you reconciled that sort of stature that you have every day? Was it once more difficult to sort of be in the position you're in, or is it a constant kind of battle?
See, I don't look at myself as a role model. I would never place myself on that pedestal, obviously. If other people want to place me there, that's up to them. I would advise them not to, because I don't think you should deify kind of any human being, because but yeah, I mean, I think it's something that I've grown more comfortable with the idea that I also think the thing I'd always say, and I've often said in interviews, is that I think if people want a role model, Harry Potter is a very, very good role model, and he's something that won't change, and he'll always be, fixed in that permanent, lovely way. And so those are the role models you want. But you know, I'm gonna grow old and get fat and stuff. So you know, you don't want to make me have.
And you've smoked a cigarette or two. You've been a
I
guy.
have, unfortunately, yes. It's a terrible thing to admit to, but yes, I'm gonna go to hell.
Follow your mind when like a newspaper puts you on the front page for smoking. Obviously, that the whole thing was a flap over something. They thought was different.
Exactly. Yeah,
right.
yeah. But yeah, I mean that stuff, you know, is part and parcel of the job, and,
right.
it comes with the territory, and you just have to let it sort of wash over you.
When we spoke a few months back, we talked about two scenes that you were kind of looking forward to and excited about in different ways. One was that long walk in the forest when you would get to do a scene again.
It was really hard.
So you've done it with Gary?
Yeah, we've done it, and it was one of those scenes that, like, by the end of the third day of it, we were going, I don't know if I like this one as much as I did at the beginning. It was really, really tough. It was just one of those scenes where I think because I put a lot of pressure on myself to get it right beforehand, and so I wasn't able to relax and enjoy it as much as I might have done otherwise. So I was slightly annoyed about that.
But Gary was at least there.
But Gary was brilliant, and he was there. Gary was there, and David Thewlis obviously has died by that point in the film, and also there's my parents, played by Adrian and Geraldine, were there as well. So it was lovely to see them.
Do you feel the finish line is in sight? Do you feel a melancholy coming over you knowing that you're in your last days?
Yeah, there is certainly. We've had a few people finish recently, like finish off their stories in the film. They've been going home, and so that is odd. And I did have a moment. I walked into the makeup room the other day, the makeup room that I have been in for 10 years now, and I did walk in and go, wow, you know, this is one day in about 4 or 5 months I'm going to walk into here for the last time. Yeah. And especially because after we leave, they're redoing the whole studios. They're kind of tearing it down, starting again, which is gratifying. Could have done 10 years earlier, but never mind. No. but no, and it's going to be amazing actually, because this big investment's going into Leavesden, and England will finally have the third film studio, because they've always had Shepperton and Pinewood. Sure. But to have Leavesden be a fully all mod cons, that'll do wonders for the film industry in England, which is always a struggle to keep going. Right. You know, and what's been amazing about Potter is Potter has been the major film in England for the last 10 years, and it's provided a lot of jobs and kept a lot of people in work, myself included, obviously, and so yeah, I mean it's been amazing. But yeah, so it will be very sad when it comes to finishing, but you know, it's something that you have to accept, and it's also very exciting, and I'll hopefully have things to go on to shortly afterwards.
Do you feel like you've missed out on your generation? You probably can't do the MySpace or Facebook or anything, Twitter. I mean, you can do Twitter if you want, I guess, but
I could if I wanted. I don't really do any of it. I mean, Twitter, and what are they called? Like, Twitter, to me, just the name implies that it must be inane. I mean,
if you want to carry yourself with dignity, don't tweet.
No, it's like I've just got one look of approval from the camera. No, I haven't done Facebook or MySpace. I think it's different. MySpace, what MySpace did was brilliant for new bands and music. Right. It still is, and so that I think has a different value. But in terms of Facebook, and it's like when you say, oh, John is eating. Well, good for John. But like, I just, you know, of course, I expect John to eat, right? Because he's a human being. It doesn't surprise me, you know, that he might be having a meal somewhere around 1 o'clock. It's cool. Like, I don't know. I don't really feel I've missed out on that much. Although it's supposed to be also very good for communicating with people who obviously live overseas and stuff.
Done a couple of your, isn't Rupert and Tom? They Twitter a lot.
Tom tweets definitely. No. But him I forget because he tweets about cricket sometimes, so that's fine. Does Rupert tweet?
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I made that up. Tom I know is an avid tweeter. Yeah.
Tom is. But even like I think I even saw the Phelps twins once were tweeting on it, and it was something, and I just went, James, Ollie, like, I thought, fine, so what? Like, it's that horrible assumption that everyone needs to know everything you're doing. It's like, and actually, I think, you know, for me, it would be a very silly thing for me to do, actually, because if I then went along and tweeted and started telling people about my life, and then the press started trying to take photos of me, and then I could hardly go on about invasion of privacy if I was spilling my secrets to the world about my daily routine.
And you're someone that's always so frank and doesn't, you know, self-censor, so I could only imagine on Twitter it might get dangerous for you.
Yes, well, exactly. I don't have that editing facility that most human beings have.
Thankfully for interviewers like me,
yeah,
I love
exactly.
it.
Well, that's what the good thing is. I hate it when you find people who just, you know, I read an article the other day actually about the fact that in the world of cricket there are only 2 people really who say anything interesting in interviews anymore, and I think you do have to try and make interviews slightly more interesting and be a bit franker if you can, because otherwise it's just all becomes the same. Oh yeah, I had a great time on this film, and which I do, and I'm lucky enough to have a great job, so I often do end up saying I've had a great time. But yeah, I like to think I'll always make it slightly more edgy or interesting in some way.
Thank God for that. Are you watching the Olympics right now? Are you into it? Are you able to?
You know, as a Brit, the Winter Olympics aren't something you tend to get quite so het up about. No. You know, I've been watching a bit of the hockey, and I've been amazed by how much I've sort of curling. Right, is actually just because it demands so little of you to watch it, and because, even though it's a highly skilled thing, I'm sure. But to actually watch it, it's very easy. It's like you're being hypnotised or something, and
that sweeping is always hypnotic, isn't it?
But suddenly, and it's that thing of that they go really, and then they go mental for a few seconds, and I love it. No, so I've really been getting into the curling. Sweden got caned last night by Canada.
It sounds kind of perfect for your hyperactive personality. You could be a master sweeper, I feel like.
I could be, yeah. There we go. When Potter finishes, once it all goes up, I can do that.
There's our headline: Dan Radcliffe gives up acting for curling.
Yeah, absolutely, brilliant.
How to succeed in business without really trying, though?
Oh, we had a fantastic reading before Christmas, and you know, nothing's confirmed yet, but hopefully, you know, it's something that I would be very, very excited to move on to. Definitely.
Anxious to be back on Broadway again.
Yeah. Definitely.
That would be a different kind of vibe from Equus, I would think. I
was thinking that when we were doing the reading, I was going, this is going to be very different from Equus because I don't have to talk to myself and get naked every night. This is going to be fun. I'll actually be able to really enjoy this. I did enjoy Equus, but How to Succeed would be a real laugh.
Epilogue. Have you done it yet? Have you seen yourself old? Have
Not
you
yet.
seen mock-ups or anything?
Tests. We've done a few tests, and it does look really, really rather good. And hopefully, the one thing I'll say is that my daughter is hopefully going to be played by the daughter of Amanda Knight, who is the head of the makeup department.
Wonderful.
And she was born a week before I got the part, and is now 9. And so it's the kind of physical embodiment of how long we've been there.
Wow.
And she's got red hair like Jenny and blue eyes like me, so she's perfect to play our daughter.
A living testament to the passage of time, right?
Absolutely right. Couldn't have put it better myself.